Giving is a very beautiful thing. It's an opportunity for you to thank God and show appreciation for all of the blessings that God has given you. And it's also an opportunity for you to give towards the work of the kingdom, because the work of the kingdom needs resources for it to be accomplished, and your giving would help to further that work to be done. And your giving is supposed to be done willingly, with cheerfulness, with joy, and of course it should cost you something. It's a sacrifice. It's given so that things can be better, not just for yourself but for people generally, and to shine God's light everywhere to the far corners of the earth. So it's a very wonderful thing to do. But there's a way giving has been done over time in church that is not necessarily right, or it's not the way God intended. And I think that needs to be repaired or changed, really, so that we start giving the way God actually wants, so that it will be acceptable before God. Remember Abel and Cain, when they both gave stuff, but one was accepted and the other wasn't. So a lot of people are giving in church, and honestly, God is not accepting the offering. God is not accepting whatever they are giving, because they are not giving rightly. And what am I talking about? Now, if you have been in church long enough, I'm sure you must have seen this one way or another, where a pastor is preaching, and after preaching for a while, he now starts calling on people to give, to tie into the blessing of what has been preached about. Perhaps the preaching was on prosperity, and he said to tap into this, you should sow a seed of faith to tap into this blessing. Give something that will cost you something, so that you can tap into that blessing, so that you can open the door of favor and blessing to fall upon you. It can be a sermon on maybe fruitfulness. Somebody who is struggling for the fruit of the womb, you say, give to tap into this breakthrough or this miracle, or whatever the case may be. But it's usually to tie into a breakthrough or deliverance or miracle or something. But it's just for you to give to open the floodgate of favor and of blessing upon your life. And it's usually saying that you should give towards that. And in giving towards that, there are several ways that it's done. You are either supposed to raise your hand and make a pledge. So you raise your hand, they'll give you a paper to write down what you want to give as your pledge to the church. Or another way that they can do it is that they'll tell you to raise your hand and come forward, and then you'd come forward and they'll pray for you. Another way is that they would say, if you want to give this amount, it's more like an auction. They'll say, if you want to give 50,000, please stand up. Then those who want to give 50,000 will stand up and come forward, and they'll be prayed for, and they will drop that amount, or they will make a pledge to drop that amount within the week or within XYZ number of days. They'll say that the person that wants to give 1 million, stand up. Those that want to give 1 million would stand up. They usually start with a higher number and then start going down to smaller numbers, so that everybody will get a chance to partake of the blessing. Now, if you have not experienced this in church, you are very fortunate. I've seen this happen time and time again. And honestly, this doesn't agree with what the Bible says concerning giving. Because first of all, as I said, giving is supposed to be willingly and cheerfully. It's supposed to be coming from your heart. You're not supposed to be cajoled or enticed towards giving. If you listen to a ministration and you are blessed by it by yourself, without the pastor having to nudge you or tell you to give, to tap into it, you already want to give towards whatever you want to give to, because God has laid it in your heart. And it's not a trade by barter thing. You don't give so that you open a floodgate for you to get blessing. Now, giving by itself is a natural occurrence. When you give, you will receive. It's normal. So not that you are giving so that God will now see you as worthy of favor so that he can bless you. So the key is that it is your own personal desire to want to give, not for someone to tell you that you have to give to tap into this. And you are not giving with the intention of God giving you tenfold or hundredfold. You are giving because you want to, because you have seen you have had a desire to give. You are giving because, okay, you have been blessed and you feel, God, I want to appreciate you. I want to show my gratitude by giving you this. Or you are giving because I see that this work in the kingdom needs to be done, and I think I have some resources that will be helpful to it. It might cost me something, it might cost me a lot, but you know what, I would still sacrifice that and give, because I see that this is a need that needs to be filled in the church. And so you give, not because I'm giving so that God can now open it will now open a doorway of blessing for you. That's not the intention of giving. And giving is also supposed to be done privately. So that entire attitude of raising your hand and making a pledge, or writing your tithe on paper, or coming out in front to say I want to give 1 million, and then they'll lay hands on you, it is entirely false. It's actually not right. It's actually not godly, honestly, because the Bible lets us understand that when you give so that people will see you and you get applause, guess what? You have already gotten your reward. That applause you have gotten, or that recognition that this man or this woman gave 1 million naira to the church, that is the only reward you are getting for that giving, and you have wasted a good giving opportunity. Yes, you might have really wanted to give honestly, but you allowed, or because of your lack of understanding, you allowed yourself to be robbed of the blessing that you should have gotten, because you've already gotten your reward by showing what you're giving. Giving is supposed to be done privately. It's supposed to be between you and God. The Bible says that your other hand should not know what the other hand is giving. If you are giving with your right hand, your left hand shouldn't know. Nobody is supposed to know what you are giving. Only you and God. So if you want to give your offering, prepare your offering even before you come to church. Put it in an envelope and close it and submit it in church. Don't let anybody know. If you want to give your tithe and send it to whoever you need to send it to in church, whoever the account in church, or to pay it in the offering box or whatever. Give your tithe. You don't have to write your name or fill one tithe booklet so that the church or the pastor can recognize you as a tithe payer. Honestly, that is entirely false, because what that does is that the pastors now begin to know who are the highest tithe payers. I hear those things being said in church when they say, oh, this man is one of the highest tithe payers in church. This one is one of the highest tithe payers in church. This one doesn't pay tithe. You're not supposed to know who is paying tithe or not. You're supposed to just see the account and see that it has been credited, and you use the money accordingly. Nobody's supposed to know. But because they now know that you are the highest tithe payer in church, it's just natural human instinct to treat you better, or to want to keep you in the church and secure in church, because you are the one helping for the finances in church. And also, it's not for you to come and have auction. They now say 1 million naira, who wants to give 1 million naira? Tap into this blessing. Tap into the blessing. And in the count of 5, anybody that wants to enter should be in front. In the count of 5, you see people running. They will be running to go to the front to be among the chosen ones that will tap into 1 million. How about that lady that is in church that doesn't have up to 100 naira, right, to give, but she really desires to give, and she desires to give that whole 100 naira that she has? Does that mean that she won't tap into that blessing of 1 million naira because she cannot give 1 million naira? Remember the story of the widow's mite, that she gave the least in the church, but she gave the most because she gave her all. So giving is about you sacrificing and giving something that costs you something, and it's supposed to be private. It's not supposed to be for anybody to know, because once people know, that's already your reward. You get praised by them. You get seen by them as the rich person, or the person who has resources, or people start coming to meet you for things. You notice that some people in church are the ones that people always troop around for favors. Help me with a job, help me with that, help me with this, because they have already identified them as big people in church. This is not towns meeting. This is not village meeting in the east, where they'll say, my husband and I are donating a sum of this to the construction of this XYZ. No, it is not. So please, don't rob yourself of the blessings by now coming out and showcasing whatever you are giving, because it's not just good and it's not godly. And if you are in church, if you are in a church that does that, please don't continue with that. See, even if you want to give, no matter how they shout and cajole and voice it out and say tap into this blessing, sit down. What you still want to give is what you still give in your mind. You will make that pledge in your heart and still give that amount to the church, but you're not going to come outside, because nobody is going to rob you of your blessing. Don't come outside. Don't come outside. Stay and sit down and make your pledge and do it with your full heart. And if you are in a church that you feel like the pastor is not responsible with the money, or you think that the church doesn't spend resources properly, you should be able to ask whom is in charge. You don't go and start spreading rumors up and down, because sometimes it's just rumors. Go to meet whoever is responsible or in charge to find out about the use. I mean, things should be transparent in church, so you can find out from who is in charge, not going to go and meet people. Because when you start going to go and meet people, you start allowing rumors to start spreading. So meet whoever is in charge to ask, and let them tell you. Now, the way they spend the money in church might not tally exactly with how you would personally do it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they are not using the resources as best as they think is fit for the church. But if you have found out that genuinely they are actually not using the resources rightly, then you can do one of two things. You can seek talking to them and giving your findings towards whomever is in charge, and give suggestions for change and allow for room for change. Or if you see that they are not willing to change, then you can decide to go to another church where they will respect and honor God, and with the way they handle the resources that have been given unto them. So that's one of the two things you can do. But don't let the fact that you believe that some pastors are fake, or some pastors are not using resources, or some pastors that are getting rich while members are getting poor, to stop you from giving because you don't trust the pastor. It's about you. You decide to go to the church that you believe you trust the way they handle things. So it is your choice. Nobody forced you to go to a particular church. So if you are in whatever church, make sure that you at least you believe in the church, you believe in what they do, you believe that they are going to be accountable, and you can see that, and so it allows you to freely give. So I hope this video has been quite insightful for you. And if you want to enjoy more of this kind of content, then subscribe to our channel, because we talk about how to apply the scriptures into our daily life. It's life application. Christianity is not a religion, it's a lifestyle. And so we show you how to apply the scriptures to your daily life, and to make sure that it is a part and parcel of you. So subscribe to this channel, and of course share this video with your friends and family, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.